Hello and welcome back to Leader Insights on the Go. Today I have a short topic and it's going to be about the truth blueprint. So I've been working on a framework that it's all about how leaders need to be prepared to tell the truth in order to build strong, effective teams, right? And challenging conversations. And it is very hard to connect with our people when we are not able to give them honest feedback. In essence, today's conversation, it's going to be about truth telling, right? This framework that I'm working on that will be available for leaders to access through my website, it's all about preparing you as a person. Leadership is a discipline that requires preparation and it requires self-awareness. You also need to be ready. And it's really important that part of that task of being a leader is being able to have honest conversations with your people that you are working with, whether they are your peers or your supervisees or team members within your core working group. You need to be able to have positive relationships with them and relationships that allows you to give them honest feedback that moves the work forward, but also protects the relationship that you are building in that workspace. So this framework overview is a true core belief that is meant to support leaders in the process of building effective teams. Now, truth telling should never be a script, right? So this overview and this blueprint for the truth is not a script that we are handing you or that I'm telling you should say this. It is in fact a framework that is going to give you the tool for you to actually do this in an authentic way and in a way that is a part of your self-awareness. So it requires from you, the leader, it requires readiness from the receiver. It requires facts over emotion. It also needs urgency with compassion and clear follow through and measurable outcomes. The formula that I'm using to support leaders in doing this and hosting difficult conversations. So why does this blueprint exist? Well, most feedback models focus on a one-side exchange. And the truth is that leaders give feedback, then expect change. The truth blueprint takes a fuller view of what it is required from the leader as they are engaging their teams. It studies both the deliverer and the receiver. It asks you as a leader to prepare yourself and prepare your people. It's really about understanding the moment, speaking the facts, and inviting a response. And the response matters because you are going to move then to documentation through follow through. It is how we begin to build accountability. Now, what makes this model different? Well, it addresses behavior quickly instead of waiting until patterns become accepted. So we're not going to sit for something to become a problem. If we see a behavior that does not align, there's no reason to wait if we already know it shouldn't be a part of the work environment or a part of the team. And so in that sense, yes, we're going to move quickly and have that conversation. It treats compassion and accountability as a leadership skill, not a competing value. They must go hand in hand. Compassion and accountability must coexist and show up at the same time in the same room all the time. It also focuses on the readiness and response of the receiver, not only the message that you want to deliver, right? So it is your job to prepare the person that you are going to be having an honest conversation with. It identifies leader skill gaps when truth telling does not land well, right? Able to know who you are, what skills you have available to you in the process of telling someone the truth. But also, you need to be able to know how to handle it when it doesn't land when it doesn't go well, when the receiver then goes into reactionary mode, they become defensive. You as a leader need to be able to cope and maintain a certain level of self-regulation. It gives you a repeatable strategy. And this strategy is all about preserving your authentic voice and judgment. The leadership standard should always be truth with dignity. Say that. The leadership standard should always be truth with dignity. Truth should be factual, should be timely, should be respectful, should be clear, and should be connected to growth. If it's not connected to growth, why are we even doing this? Right? When we give someone feedback, it's considered a gift, and the goal is for continuous growth. So leaders do not use truth to control people. They use the truth to protect standards. So we don't deviate. We don't lower our standards. We hold people accountable to that higher standard so that they can improve and really have honest, kind relationships. It also builds a healthier team when people know where they're standing with you, with the work, and with their performance. It's important that we really are intentional about how we're holding conversations with our team. Now, the Truth Blueprint is going to be a journey that you are going to embark as you begin your team development process. And every leader that has a team has to have these honest and challenging conversations. Some conversations are going to be easier than others. You're going to need to know who your people are and how they react to these conversations and feedback. But my experience has been that when I am ready to give someone feedback, I'm always asking permission. And I set them up so that they know what they can expect from me. I oftentimes will say, hey, can I give you some feedback? This feedback may or may not be well received. It is going to be hard feedback. Are you open to it? Right? And I'm going to deliver that with dignity and respect. But I am going to tell them the truth about what I am experiencing. And I'm going to come from a space of wanting to seek understanding, but also be curious about why am I experiencing this at this particular time? And how can we shift that together? And so there's something to be said about truth being targeted with intention. We need to understand what our purpose is. Why am I having these conversations? And so the truth-telling blueprint is a 7-step process. And so I'm going to start with targeted intention. So we need to have our purpose defined. 2 is assess for readiness. Is the person receiving the feedback ready to receive it? Or do you need to adjust your timing and set up time at a different time? 3 is using facts. Facts should govern the truth, right? We need to be able to give communication that is not subjective, but that there is evidence to what it is that you are wanting to share. Now, telling the truth is about speaking with clarity and courage. It is complex, but we have to be courageous and we have to tell people the truth so that they can actually change, shift, modify, and redefine themselves. 5 is you gotta invite dialogue. It is not a one-sided conversation. It is a two-way street. There has to be a dialogue because our job is to seek understanding so that we can support them in their professional growth. We have to hold the process. We are responsible as the leader, as the captain of that ship. We are responsible. We have to hold the space for people to be able to continue to grow, right? And we have to do it with structure. It's not a free-for-all. We need to be able to follow structure. We need to be able to document, set expectations, provide support. People don't grow randomly, right? Growth is an internal process. And so we need to be prepared to do that so that it is sustainable. And number 7, the last piece here of the Truth Blueprint is transformation together. No one on this earth do things alone. You may feel lonely at times. You may feel like you're pushing through on your own, But somewhere along that path, somewhere along your leadership journey, there is someone there that set you on, that is your accountability partner, that gives you feedback, that supports you, that is also telling you the truth because you want to grow as a leader and make a positive impact in the lives of those who are engaged with you. So I think we want growth to be the end goal. We want transformation as our end result. We want our people to feel that they are stronger. We want our people to feel that they have a support system. And we also want to build a culture within our teams and our organizations that is rooted in honesty. Being honest with our teams about where we are going and how we're going to get there. So ultimately, that is the impact that we want to see. And I think it's all about preparing yourself for those conversations. Like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all script here that you are getting. It is about your own personal strategy. It is about looking at yourself and how do you create an experience that can be received by the people that you are going to give feedback. And so there is a piece to the blueprint that is all about implementation. How do you go about preparing yourself, being aware of how important it is for you to be intentional in having these conversations? And I'm not going to talk too much about them, but I'm going to tell you that first and foremost, you have to prepare yourself, set yourself for success, know what it is that you're going to talk about, and what is the intention. What is my goal here? 2, clarify the issue. What is it that you're going to address? 3, open the conversation. Again, it's not a one-way, it's a two-way. Share the facts and keep them honest and short. Share the facts. Invite a response. Open the space for people to respond to what they are hearing and receiving. When they do that, you then have an opportunity to align the standards to what it's being said. Because remember, the goal is professional growth and correction. We want to move people to a greater and more effective way of performing. And so you got to align the facts to the standards. Because if there's misalignment, that's where the opportunity for growth exists. That is where your gap is, and that's where you begin to bridge the gap. So that's important. Create a growth plan. Do it together. Again, this is going to affect the person you're having a conversation with. So you have to understand who they are and what they need. So create a plan with them together. Document and follow up. Hey, it is the way that we need to be able to hold them and us accountable, right? When you document the process, you're also documenting accountability for self and for the person in front of you so that you guys can track your goals. Measure success, right? What's a development plan without matrix? You need to be able to measure success. Are we hitting the milestones that we need for growth and performance improvement? And then the last piece here is decide and take action. When change doesn't happen, what do we do next? Do we sit down and have another honest conversation? Or do we move people through the process? I'm going to always side into the space of always have the honest conversation before you hand somebody a piece of paper. That is how you preserve dignity and respect of the person in front of you, right? So they know if they haven't made progress. And our job is to bring back the facts to the conversation and say, it's been 3 months. There's been progress in these areas, but these other areas are stagnant and these are important to the work that we do. Just a short video on difficult conversations. If you're interested in getting the blueprint, visit us at leaderinsights.org. Go to our shop and it should be there for you to access and purchase if you like. If you have questions about the blueprint, DM me directly and we can have a conversation about how we can support you in having these meaningful conversations. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to have this amazing framework that it's going to support every individual who is committed to having honest, direct conversations that preserves the dignity and well-being of the people receiving them. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.